Started here. Once we get on here and get a little ding, I think it lets me know. Cool. Awesome. Well, welcome again, guys. If you are tuning in live on Facebook or on YouTube today, you're in for another great episode of Pencil Leadership being recorded. We have an amazing guest with us today. So you're going to want to get your notes going, get your paper ready, get your pencils out, because you're going to have some good information today. Guys, today we have EJ Brown with us. He is the pastor of young adults and youth at Seven City Church in Fort Worth, Texas. But he's also an author. He wrote the book, Unlocking Your Potential in Singleness, How to Maximize Your Single Life. And sometimes, if we're lucky, we move from singleness to starting a family. And so today we really wanted to hit on that topic. So EJ is going to share his expertise on leading our families, your families well, and how that impacts the world around us. So EJ, welcome to Pencil Leadership, man.
Hey, what's going on? Thank you for having me on here. I'm glad to be here.
So thankful you're here today to share with the audience. But first, I would love to hear kind of your backstory, how you've gotten to where you are today, especially writing the book, how that was, and things that you want to share.
Yeah, man. So I grew up military family. My dad, he was in the military and in the army, and so I moved around quite a bit. I went to middle and high school in St. Louis, Missouri. I don't know what's going on with my lighting here.
No worries.
Hold on one second.
No worries.
Yeah. So like I said, I went to high school in St. Louis, and then after that, man, my family moved to Atlanta, and so I graduated college there in Atlanta, Georgia, at Kennesaw State University. And so, for me, I guess I never really was into reading or writing, honestly.
Gotcha.
And with that, I found myself in this place of, in 2010, I got saved and became a Christian, and I didn't grow up in the church or anything of that nature. So it was just kind of one of those things where I just felt like my heart was changed and transformed, and that kind of started my journey of, I was in a relationship, and I felt like God had told me to get out of that relationship, and so I just went through a couple of years, almost 4 years of just being single, man, and just focusing on school, sports, life, just, in God. So I kind of write about that in my book. And so that's kind of how the inspiration behind my book came. And then in 2014, my wife and I got married. And so we've been married for 6 years, and we have a 2-year-old son. So it's kind of a quick snippet of my life. So
that's awesome. So that's cool. It's kind of brought you. So you really just kind of felt called to writing, Unlocking Your Potential in Singleness. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, man. I was in the shower. I get a lot of thinking done in the shower.
Right.
I'm sure
I think
some
a lot
other
of people do
do
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And really just this thought came to me, man. And I believe, in my personal belief, I believe it was the Lord. And I felt like He had put on my heart to write a book about my journey through being single. And I was like, well, why would I do that? I'm married right now, but what I found is a lot of the things that we do, like even now, are for our future, and we don't even realize the impact it'll have. And so I tell like the guys that I mentor and stuff all the time, like, don't look at right now, like stay present, but don't understand that like the things that you're going through is making you better for someone along the way. And so that's kind of what inspired it.
Yeah, so I mean, we could probably take a lot away, even being married. We're both married, but still from that life, like in singleness, like we probably learned a lot and can grow from that. So what do you think? I'm curious, and you can take time to think about this if you need. What are some things from singleness that we can take going forward into marriage that we've learned?
Yeah, so I think what my book personally it really focuses on is like understanding your wholeness before you get into marriage. A lot of times we get into marriage and we'll say things like, this person completes me, or like this is my better half. Like, no, it is my belief like God has made us whole when He redeems us, and so there's a process of understanding like, hey, I, side note, I tell the guys that I mentor a lot, I say, man, if you think that marriage is the like fix, the final, like, oh, well, I'm not going to struggle with XYZ anymore.
Right.
If you think marriage is that, then you're not ready for marriage.
Right.
Because until you have the discipline in your own self to like walk through that, whether that's practically from, can you make your bed daily? Right. Can you pick up your dirty clothes? Different things of that nature. And those practical tools are also preparing you for marriage, because there comes a point where you're now coming into marriage and it really causes you to deny yourself. You know what I'm saying? It causes you to say, look, I'm not the number one priority anymore. Right. And so can you do that while you're single? Whether that be just helping someone maybe in college, helping them study for an exam, or helping the homeless, or, giving someone the shoes off your feet, or whatever that may be. Like, what are ways that you can begin to stop being selfish, basically? Because that's what our world tells us to do, is be selfish.
I know, no, 100%. And I think that's a huge point you make. And I talk to people so much about it. It's like through coaching or just interacting and helping them, is you have to see your worth.
Right.
For yourself, because another person's not, they shouldn't be what you're looking for to complete that. Because you never know what can happen, and then what then you're incomplete. So exactly. So seeing your completeness, seeing your worth as more than someone else, or a title that you're a job or something of that nature. I think that's huge, and something so many people need to see before they kind of get to that next stage is like being comfortable, being cool with themselves, to be able to grow and then share with someone. So it's almost two wholes coming together, making something even better.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing is that we can find our identity in all of these things. But if we don't know who we are, how can we even love properly if we don't know how to, walk in love with people? So that's kind of the thing that I had to find in that time.
And it's because it's crazy. Like, and even as much as we try to know ourselves and learn about our worth and our potential and stuff like that, but once you get married, it's still a whole new thing. Like,
it is.
You know all about yourself and all that. But man, when you get married, like, things just, you're like, oh man, I didn't know that ticked me off. I didn't know I was bad. Like, I didn't know I was like weak in that area, or struggled with that, or whatever it is. And so it really just accentuates it. So if we have a decent grasp, it might not be as bad, but it'll still be hard.
What I found is, me and my wife, we went through a year of premarital counseling before we got married, and with our pastor, and it was so helpful, because like I had thought that I during that time of singleness, I had dealt with like jealousy or insecurity, but like when we got engaged, it was heightened to another level, to the point that it took really up until a couple months before we got married that I felt like that was released off of me. Like I didn't feel that way anymore, but it took getting down to the root of why I think the way that I do, or I do the things that I do. And I think that's the beauty of the process. Like, we live in a time where everything's just quick. But if we don't ever enjoy the process, we're not going to have an appreciation for the prize. So,
I love that. I love that so much. And I think it's hard to kind of, for people to understand that, because one, I mean, like you said, we're taught so much to be selfish a lot of times in a lot of things. And then in the mentality of I want it now, and it's the work being put towards it, for sure. So where do you say we could start, female, male, whatever, coming into a relationship with somebody, to be prepared or to start building a healthy kind of relationship?
Right. Yeah, I would say, what are your friendships like?
Mm.
Evaluate who you have in your life, because at the end of the day, I say this: if the people that are in your life are not connected to your destiny, then they're dead weight.
Yeah.
They're dead weight. It's like I'm climbing a mountain, and like there's different ledges and different things that you got to hold on to. Some are smoother, some are stronger, some are smaller. Like, I'm climbing up this mountain in life, and if I got dead weight and people are not like ropes so that I can, or little
pickaxe things
that you can put in, then it's no way that I can get to my destiny. I'm just being held down by those people. And I think that a lot of people, especially in this world, we hold on to people because we're scared to let them go. But in reality, they're not helping us get to our destiny.
Right.
And so I think we should always have people that are going to pull, not push, pull us to our destiny, because when people can pull us to our destiny, that means they see who we really are and who we're created to be.
Yeah, that's so true. And it goes even in the business world. It goes in anything really. Like, you are the sum total of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you surround yourself with 5 people who are doing not so great of things,
right,
you're going to be the 6th that are going in there. If you surround yourself with people who have dreams and goals and aspirations and want to make a difference, and then that's going to rub off on you too. And so, I think hit it right on the head about how important it is who we surround ourselves with. So I think that's a great start for sure.
So surrounding yourself, I would start there. Like, who's in your camp, what I'm saying? And then also looking in your own personal disciplines. What are the personal disciplines? Like, are you taking care of your health? If you have faith in, if you're a believer, like, are you being disciplined in your faith journey and spending time in the Bible every day, or spending time in whatever you believe or whatever? Are you being diligent and faithful in those times, with just personal faith disciplines, physical disciplines? Are you reading? Are you doing things? Man, this light is censored, sorry.
No, you're good, no worries.
Are you doing those things that are going to just build you up as a person, so that you are getting stronger? I tell people all the time, so my degree is in exercise science, and so I was a trainer for a long time before I became a pastor. And like, I would tell people, like, I'm not going to sit here and start you off at 225 pounds on the bench press. Like, I'm going to build you up to a place where that can become a normal way of living for you. You can't just get up there, you hurt yourself. And I think a lot of people, they're benching 95 pounds, but they try to get in a marriage, which is a 315 pound bench press, right? And so it takes time to develop that discipline to get there.
And no, we are not saying our wives are that much weight people. Don't take it that way. Hannah, if you're listening, that's not what we meant. So
right.
No, I think it's kind of like how you do small things. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you don't have discipline to do the little things, then the big thing is it's gonna really kind of start being negative as well. So
and I can say, like, I'm still growing in that. Right. It's not like you have to reach the pinnacle of any of those things, because I don't believe you will, because we should always be developing and growing and being stretched and all of that, but I feel like there is a certain level of consistency and maturity that comes when you develop those disciplines, because it actually gets harder when you get married, as because for me, with my faith, like, I used to spend time reading the Bible a lot and praying a lot, and like, I'm a pastor, so obviously I do that. But I can say, when I was single and I wasn't married, I felt like I had more time. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I could spend more time, or I could do more of this, that, and the other, because I don't have to think about, like, hey, my wife is needing me to, I don't know, cut the grass, or she wants to go on a date, or whatever that may be. And then only gets to a deeper level when you have kids.
Sure, because it goes from, okay, I'm doing well, I'm taking care of myself, I'm improving my well-being in every aspect, but then now you're responsible for the well-being of your wife and taking care of her and leading her well. And then kids, God willing, like then you have to lead them and take care of them. And so, like if you're not, that's why it's there. We see so much struggle nowadays, I think, because I mean, I believe men should be the leader in the household. They should take the steps and they should lead. And so not that women can't, but just for the time being conversation. And so we're getting into the relationship, but we're not in a healthy state. We're not in a healthy position. We're not at a maturity level. And so there's a lot of growth. And that's why I think a lot now we're seeing in the world is a lot of broken relationships, a lot of broken families, and it's making a negative impact on the world.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And I think that I think what you said is like men, we have been built to lead, but it doesn't mean that we are dictators, right? We're not like women, you are nobodies, you listen to what I say. And unfortunately, I believe a lot of people have taken on that mindset.
Right.
But no, it's like there's beauty in each of our roles, and like, you know, what are the things that you're good at that I'm not good at? Like my wife, she's very good with like, she's a mathematics major, so she's very good with like the budget and all those different things. And so I'm like, yo, you got that, you know, like you're very good at this, and I can submit like my weakness in that area. And so that's how you learn to work with the team in that situation. But being single, I think you can develop that by having close friends that call out your weaknesses, but also build you up at the same time. And it forces you to really evaluate what you personally may struggle with, or maybe is strong in, you know?
No, true. Yeah, I think that's a huge point. And so my wife, Hannah, she's a math major as well. She teaches math. And so, I mean, she's very she's very level-headed, and she helps keep me grounded a lot of times when I'm going, like I have these ideas and things, and then she brings them down, help me plan it out and think more about it. So I think it's amazing to see how two different people can come together and then complement one another in the whole process of leading the family, of leading a relationship and working together. I think that's huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some steps so people maybe they're trying to grow, maybe they're having struggles leading or being a family unit or whatnot. What are some practical tips that if you were talking with a couple or individuals that they could implement to start building and leading their families better, I guess, for lack of words?
So I know for me and my family, I remember when my wife was pregnant, and you know, one thing that we felt like was put on our heart was to have a family mantra. And so we felt like that if we have this family mantra, it's something that we know, it's something that our kids will know, and it's just something that we could set a standard, like this is what the Browns do. And so you know, it's the name of our podcast, but it says the Browns, we influence those around us with love, with grace, and with truth. And so we're going to love people well, we're going to extend grace to people, and then we're going to give them truth, you know what I'm saying? And so that is something like before COVID, we were doing this more regularly, but you know, we were quarantined in the house, so we didn't do it as it was kind of like our thing. Before we go to work, me, my wife, and my son, we stand in front of like this plaque on our fireplace, and we quote that, and you know, he knows it by heart now. So it's one of those things, like he knows that this is who we are as the Browns. And so I would say setting a family mantra of these are the standards, these are the things that we believe stand for our home, and this is what we're going to live by. So that would be my first step. Second step, I would say, is modeling. I mean, this could go into different phases, but in my personal belief, you know, like I said, as a Christian, looking how to have a husband and a wife in a home. I believe that is very important. And I believe that when a child sees a husband and a wife loving each other well, not, you know, tossing shoes at each other, but being able to get into disagreements and have healthy conflict resolution, I believe that speaks volumes to your children. I have some guys, like I said, I mentor, and me and my wife, we were packing up, moving from Memphis to Fort Worth, Texas. And I remember there was a moment where she said something, and I really was not upset, but I had two guys that I mentored with me, and they're like, 18 years old. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to actually get in an argument with my wife right now, because I want them to see that we can handle this in a healthy way. It doesn't have to be yelling and cussing you out, right?
Right.
It can be like, hey, let's talk about this. And so I engaged in the conversation with her, and it was no yelling, or we were just kind of like in a disagreement. And so, but I wanted them to see that it's okay. Like, you're going to disagree, but let's do it in a healthy way. And so that would be the second thing, is having modeling a place of grace being extended, and communicating in a healthy way, so that your kids will be able to model that to other people when they get older. And I would say just a third point would probably be is really taking serious the development of your children, taking serious, for us, we believe in speaking identity in our son. And so one thing, when I drop my son off at preschool, I say, he repeats after me, I am strong, I am brave, I am smart, and I am loved. And so those are the four things that we say before I walk him to the door, and he repeats those after me. So it's like, it's giving him an identity of just like, yo, this is, I like, someone is here for me, no matter what happens, someone is here for me. And obviously it's my hope and dream that he would know one day that Jesus is there for him. Right.
Yeah.
But he needs to know that his father, his mother are there for him. So that's what I would say.
Those are great. And I think that is cool to have the family mantra, something that you kind of what your legacy is going to be as a family, like, if you live that out every day, and kind of use that to remind, especially in kids, because they're learning and they take everything in, even if you don't think they do. And I think it goes into the modeling, the healthy discussion, healthy communication. And do you see it becoming harder to have that healthy communication because of technology a little bit?
Yeah, no? Absolutely, man. I would say like, one of the areas that I find myself failing in is being someone who does stuff like this, or is engaged with a lot of people on social media. It's easy to be so consumed on their phone, and like, I remember my son, I mean, again, he's only 2, but there are times where he wants to play with me, and he'll like literally tell me, like, phone down. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows that there's, like, he's seen us with our phones. So it's like, I don't want that to become like a battle. Like, he needs to know that he's first. So whether I'm playing PlayStation, or I'm on my phone, or I'm on my computer, like, if he's like, hey, come play with me, I try to, I don't do it always perfectly, but 90-something% of the time I try to stop what I'm doing, and I just go over there and play with him. So he knows that he's before that.
For sure. Well, what about like the ease of blasting somebody on social media or text, or without, like, almost without repercussions, or without having to feel, it makes it easier, I feel like, to be mean or be harsh. Quick sense.
It is. And I think, well, I know for me, that is just something I think I have tried to mature in along the way. Before, I mean, I have a lot, like, in my iPhone, my notes, I have a bunch of stuff that I've wanted to say, maybe, or could have said, or just thoughts I have. I don't post all of them. You know what I'm saying? I always try to post thoughtful things. And if I say something that may even cause some tension, like, I just got to live with that. Right. But I try to do it in as a respectful of a way as I can. That all people from all types of life can understand where I'm coming from, whether you agree with me or not. And so I think that I can say writing has helped me with communicating in those ways, because when you're writing, you have to think about the reader and how they can perceive things, and all those different senses. So
that's cool. Yeah, I agree. I think being able to kind of take a step back and thinking, actually pausing. Okay, this is what I was about to say. or writing it down like you do, or typing it in a note.
Yeah.
Okay, how is that going to sound? And then maybe walk away for a little bit, take a
Yeah.
and then come back and be like, oh yeah, that would not have been good.
And it's
'Cause
easy to do with
I'm
yourself.
guilty. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Right.
guilty of it. I've said stuff before thinking, and I'm like, oh, maybe I regret that. I immediately regret my decision.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's huge. Just kind of taking that step back away from the moment, counting to 10, whatever it is, to get a better grasp and make sure that you want to go through with what you're about to say or put out there. I think that's very wise for sure.
Yeah.
And you say your writing has helped you. I wonder, is there another book in the works? Maybe Unlocking Your Potential in Marriage? Is that another?
So yeah, like if you read my book, there are some nods to a second book where, you know, I'm speaking specifically about engagement and all that stuff like that. And honestly, like, I started writing that book.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of the stuff that's happening in this country kind of inspired me to move in a different direction with another book that I already had planned.
Cool.
And so I don't want to give away that title or anything yet, because I'm in the beginning stages of it. But I am in the process of writing something else. I am in the process of I've already got my outline, and, you know, I got probably like 1,000, 2,000 words already, you know, written. So things are moving. And so at some point I'll do a volume 2 of Unlocking Your Potential. But right now, just with the tensions and what everything's going on, there's something that I believe is in my heart that I need to share in this realm of just helping this country and this world just really appreciate each other. And so
that's cool. I love it. Do you think, I wonder, do you think there's a correlation between some of the tensions, and not all of it obviously could be, but with like broken homes or not good leadership in the homes? You think some of it has?
I mean, I think if what we have to look back to is just the foundations of like the country and kind of how things were already, you know, there were broken homes when the Atlantic slave trade happened.
That's true,
right. You know, and so then you think into slavery and there were broken homes. And so like, it's just kind of like when you got generational things and no one's modeling that for you, it's easy to kind of fall into that trend. And other things being along the way, you know, that can kind of cause that. And it's on every side of the spectrum. It's not just Black people. It's not just this, you know, it's there are broken homes throughout the spectrum. And I think it just goes back to selfishness, honestly. I think, you know, we want to please ourselves, but we don't want to pay the consequences. And, you know, I mean, if you do certain things, there are something that can happen from that, right? You know, so but you didn't think about that when you were in that moment. So so that's what I would say. I think there is definitely some truth to that, but I think it's generationally deeper than we like to think about.
Oh yeah, for sure. Where do you think kind of the lack of leadership in the families, where do you think that has the biggest impact, I guess, in the world or in society? Or
I would say that anyone that I've known, like, I was fortunate to have, I'm an only child, which that was a struggle in myself, of just identity and stuff, but like and looking for approval. But I would say that not having a father in the home, just from people that I've mentored or friends with, whether that be guys or girls, them not having a father in the home really has damaged some things, man. Just from conversations I've had. You know, like my dad, I'm not like extremely close with my dad, but like he was there. I mean, he was in the military and, you know, things like that. But I can't say that I think there is, particularly for men, like, again, some of my friends, some of the guys I've mentored, when they've never had an example of a father figure, it's like you get thrusted into being a father and you're just doing whatever maybe you see or whatever you feel. But if you've had a good model representation of a father, I now can look and say, man, this is how you know, my father loved me and I want to do this. And unfortunately, there could be a good or bad to that as well, right?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like my parents, they tend to, sometimes they were very strong to like say, stop doing this, stop doing that. And so I'll catch myself doing that to my son,
Yeah.
but I'm aware like, yo, I'm only doing that because that's what was done to me. That doesn't mean it's the best way to do it.
Right.
But if you've never even seen a depiction of that, you can't even say whether or not it's good or not. You just swinging for the fences, right? And hoping that you hit a home run with it. So
Right. Yeah, I know. I agree. And I've been very blessed to have two amazing parents. My dad was just a huge role model of mine, and has really played a big impact into my life and how I've turned out, thankfully, for the better. And so, but yeah, and it just seeing so much, especially in kids in schools now, like that don't have figures either way, mother or father.
Right.
And just how you can tell that they're kind of like just longing for that, and what a
Man.
big impact that makes in their lives. And then obviously there's a ripple effect, which can be, I mean, it can be always be fixed, and things can be better through mentorship, like what you're talking about you do, and things like that. But man, yeah, there's just so much that can come off negative because of that.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. You know, for me, I think like I wouldn't be you know, the pastor that I am, or the believer that I am, if it wasn't for, you know, my pastor being like mentoring me, discipling me, and like helping me along the way to understand what this thing is that we call Christianity, right? And so maybe for you, that's being in a business sector, and you know you're trying to learn the ropes from somebody, and it's like there are leaders that we need. You know, for me, I believe that the best depiction of a servant leader was Jesus.
Mm.
And so, you know, in that Jewish culture, it's like
Yep.
the rabbis were the ones that were worshiped. And he's like, no, let me serve you. Like, let me build you up so that you know how to do things.
Yep.
And I think that's my heart. And I don't always do it perfectly, but that's what I want to depict to my son. That's what I want to depict to the guys that I mentor and disciple. And yeah, that's just the heart of leadership that I think we should have.
Yep, I agree. I think being a servant, like helping one another, lifting people up, loving one
Yeah.
another, I think is huge. And the first trait of pencil leadership is like we have to humble ourselves and realize we
Hmm.
don't know everything, and we're not perfect. And so we have to find those people, those good influences that are going to help teach us and lift us to the next stage in life. And how important that is to find good mentors that can really benefit our journey.
Yeah, man, that's good.
That's awesome. So I think I mean, we've come away with a lot of great nuggets here for leading a family well. I mean, giving them a mantra, something to kind of remember that who they are. So who are the Browns? Who are the Anderson? Like
Yeah.
what that is, what that looks like, and then model the healthy communication within the
Right.
relationship. And it's not easy. None of this is easy. I mean, it
Right.
takes
Right. Right.
and then just like I love the positive affirmations you're teaching your son. I think that's
Mhm.
huge because he's going to be able to see himself, his worth outside of whatever the world says to
Right.
him about
Right.
him. And he's more than whatever job he has in the future or whatever he does in the
Yep.
future. And so I think
Yep.
those are all great things that we can take away and start leading better in our families. Or if we're not in a family setting, lead our friends better, leave our
Right.
people in our
Right.
circle better, our community better. And so I really appreciate you sharing that and dropping those knowledge bombs on
Mhm.
us today
I
for sure.
appreciate you,
Um,
man.
yeah, no problem. Before we go, I would love for you to I try to end with the same question with my guests is the fifth trait of pencil leadership is that we're all here to leave a mark. It's a
Yeah.
unique thing. We're all different. But at the end of the day, when everything's done for you here on earth, what do you hope your mark is?
Yeah, man. I hope that my mark is that um they would see my faithfulness to God, man.
Mm,
Um that no matter what happened, that people would always say like there was a love and passion for Jesus, bro.
yeah.
And that's not commercial. That's just truly how I feel.
Yeah.
You know, I pray that they would say that I love people well,
Mm,
and that I was someone that they could always come to whenever they needed a word of encouragement. So
yeah. I love it. And getting to know you a little bit, I can see that's what you do and that's what you're about. And so I know that making a positive mark for the people that you come into contact with. So I appreciate you, EJ, and all you're doing. Where, real quick, can people connect with you if they want to get connected or follow what you're doing or things like that?
Yeah, you can connect on Instagram _ EJ Brown _ or Facebook, just EJ Brown. I should be I think maybe the first person to pop up. If you want to get my book, Unlocking Your Potential in Singleness, just go to Amazon, type in EJ Brown. My book will pop up. And also, I just want to shout out my wife real quick. She just released a children's book.
Oh, awesome.
And so it's called This Is Me from A to Z. And what that it talks about is like how we've been all uniquely created as children. So it's a diverse book, from skin color to there's kids in wheelchairs, a kid without a leg, or hearing aid. So it's really trying to allow kids from a young age to see like everyone's uniquely made.
Yeah.
And so when they see someone that looks different than them, outside of their family, they're not surprised or taken back by it. So
cool.
So those would be the areas.
Is that on Amazon, her book?
Yeah, that's on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles as well too.
Awesome.
So
cool. Link for those books are in the show description. So go ahead, check that out, get connected with EJ.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for being on Pencil Leadership.
Man, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much. It was an honor.
No problem. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in live here on Facebook and YouTube. Go ahead, share this with somebody, help be a difference in their life. If you liked what you saw or heard today, go ahead and subscribe to the show on anywhere that podcasts are. Leave a review too. It helps out the show, helps me out, and we can make this better for you going forward. So thank you guys for tuning in.